Welcome everyone to our Tuesday night chat. Tonight we have a special evening. I always say that, don't I? Every Tuesday night's a special night, but particularly special to me as we have a beautiful Roxanne Lebrasse on with us tonight. And the reason why it's really special is because without my beautiful friend Roxy, my self-reliance wouldn't exist. Because when I got started, I guess probably woke up about mid last year. I realized, the world wasn't the way that my life wasn't going in the direction I thought it was going to go anymore. And it was time to pivot. And it was Roxy's beautiful skills and blessing that she is in my life that helped me transition business. I now have two businesses, and my self-reliance has blossomed out of our conversations. It kind of was interesting. Roxy was first of all my client with Arbonne, and then I'm her client with the business.
I'm like, what are you doing? You've got to start your own business. What are you doing?
Roxy's skill is actually teaching people how to get business started. So, and guess what? We're all on opposite sides of the continent. So, um, I want to just now hand it over to Roxy to introduce herself a little bit. Tell us about yourself, and help us to get to know Roxy, and also then how you got started in your business.
Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Roxy Lebrasse. Roxanne, everyone calls me Roxy. We only get Roxanne when I'm in trouble. But I am a personal and professional development coach. I have a huge background in creativity and music, and as you can see, keyboards behind me and performance, and then mentoring artists and mentoring people that were going out to be sort of the front center and be visible to the world. And so that comes with, being able to empower people to follow their dreams and build up their confidence. And this kind of turned in very quickly and translated the skill into helping people to have the confidence to actually go forward and start their business without all of the unnecessary crap that we think business is all about. So I really sort of approach it in a way that's super creative, that's very individualized, that is very client focused. I think we're all very different. We all have different skills, and everyone has something to offer that we can monetize. And if we learn how to do that, and if we learn how to create businesses and projects that allow us to be ourselves, that allow us to grow, and that we can grow alongside, then really what we're doing is setting ourselves up to have more control over our energy, our time, our money, and life gets to be designed in a better way. And so I always say that I'm a life design coach. So I work both with businesses and with personal development, but generally it works out as how you can actually grow alongside the project that you're doing in order for it to not outgrow you, or for you not to outgrow that dream.
Beautiful. I love that, and perfectly said, because that's what we're all about at My Self-Reliance, is finding ways that you can build your life that you're not relying on anyone else to tell you how to live, how you do things, and having your own business is essential to that. Roxy, before you go any further, it seems to be your camera is you're a little bit grainy. So I don't know if we can, it may be more light on you.
Okay, I
Yeah,
can do
maybe it's a bit dark.
that. I did. Let me see if I can do this.
I just want everyone to be able to see you because yeah,
Better?
yes, that's it.
Sunlight was like beaming into the room because the sun was just coming down here before.
Perfect. Yeah, lovely. Thank you. So tell us then, why should people start businesses now? I guess, for me, it's like now more than ever, right? So you started
100%.
touching on that, about being self-reliant, but, people have always had jobs to turn to and, um, yeah.
I think I think we like to I like to think about it like when you create a business that is your own business, um, the there's this false security that comes with working for somebody else, as maybe a lot of us have seen, and I believe that it doesn't matter if you're working, doesn't matter if you're doing that, you should never have all your eggs in one basket, right? You're pretty much your my self-reliance piece is very much about being prepared for any situation, being able to take control of your life, and money and earning is a big piece of your life, and you need to be able to make sure that you have options in order um, to be able to earn and to be able to do that on your own terms. And so right now, as we've seen, the world kind of turn upside down, especially over the last 2 years, where people just decided, oh, we don't have any jobs anymore. Or if they didn't want to adhere to mandates or conditions, they were told, bye bye, And so putting that kind of your earning control and ability into somebody else's hands has always been like, to me, felt like such a risk. I haven't worked for anybody. I think it's been easily 15 years that I've contracted and worked with other people and freelance, but I've always been in control of my time and my earnings. And when you can set yourself up to just be in control of that and know that nobody can fire you, you can't fire yourself. You can only do a bad job. And so if you make sure that you do a good job, then you'll always have work. Then it's actually a lot more secure than a job who, um, an employer who can fire you for multiple reasons, for a personality clash, for business isn't doing too well, we just need to let one person go, and you just took the short straw. It just really, to me, it's one of the first pieces of independence, is independence of earning and financial responsibility. And we're so conditioned to just throw that control or put that throw that power into somebody else. So it's super important right now with everything that's happening. If you don't see it already, to have options, because later on you'll need options. Yeah. And you don't have options unless you build options. Yeah. And it doesn't actually mean that you need to like jump ship and leave your job and jump into your own business, but you need to start creating those options like you have been with the food and the gardening and everything else that you do in your life. This is just an extension of that as well.
Yeah, beautiful. Absolutely. So some people feel like they don't have the option to start a business because they might not have skills or a business idea. What's a good place for people to start to think about?
Maybe I'm going to say that everybody here has something to offer. Everybody here has something to offer, and everybody here has a skill that they can monetize. Yeah. And I did in my last course that I did, I said the example of, if there is a lady that sells her farts in jars for money, making $40,000 a month, true story, on the internet, you have something to offer that can be monetized. Yeah.
That's incredible,
So
isn't it?
it's just actually about working out what that is for you and how to pick the right business for you to get started with first. Now, I'm myself and you, Kelly, we have multiple projects that we're a part of. And sometimes the actual problem that people have is they have too many ideas and then they try and roll out all of them at once. But really, it's just about going, okay, these are all the things that I want to do. Where can I start right now that I'm going to be comfortable with, to start from this place and then just grow and move outwards from there and expand from there.
Yes, that's right. So you just mentioned then, sometimes people can have too many ideas, and then that can be a pitfall. What are some of the other pitfalls that people often fall into when they're first starting a business?
I think the main one is the idea that it's a couple of ideas that maybe I touched on, which is that when you have a small business, it's a huge risk, and then you don't get security, whereas a full-time job is security, which I feel like the last 2 years has debunked quite a bit for a lot of people, and uh, and the second main thing is that when you start a business, it's going to cost you a whole bunch of money. It's people who start a business are like, they just go out and they try and spend on everything. And it's like, whoa, wait a minute. Instead of going out and throwing your money at everything, why don't you just take a little bit of stock and work out what you can do right now with your current situation that will generate, that you can, if you're going to spend, it'll be an investment to generate money. Exactly. Such a lie. I've started earning on Zoom, says Sarah. That's what I mean. So it doesn't have to be expensive. Actually, most of the time it isn't. And if there's there are people that say, oh yeah, to start a business, you've got to spend thousands of dollars. You've got to get a building. You've got to create big websites. You've got to do all of this stuff, right? It means that you, when, from my point of view, you don't need anything except for an idea or a solution to a problem, some customers or people that have those problems, and a way to collect money. That's it. Those three things and your willingness to open your doors to the idea that you have a business means that you can be in business. All of the other stuff, it just helps you along the way. And when you're ready, you can start investing in more and more and more. So it's that's probably one of the main things. It's like they go out, or that people go out and want to start an empire out of the door. Yeah. Instead of just starting somewhere that they can handle, that can manage and they can cope with, they go out and they're like, oh, I'm going to build, I'm going to get a building in the city, and I'm going to, I'm going to hire a team of 100 people, and I'm going to do all this stuff. And it becomes too big for them to handle. And then the business, what I call is the business outgrows you. Yeah, and so they don't start where they're comfortable and they're ready, and it goes too fast and it's too much to handle, and they get into overwhelm, and then it all sort of falls to pieces really quickly as well.
Yeah, I really love that. When I started, I had you to help guide me, and one step in front of the other, and do this and do that. But one thing that you're amazing at is helping people with the mindset, because it's a very different mindset from being an employee mindset to an entrepreneur mindset. And, sometimes people can get caught up in their head. And usually it's like getting ourselves out of the way is the hardest part.
100%. The business, the creating a business is about following a set of steps, right? And it's so you've got step 1 to 20, and if you just follow those steps, you'll have a business, right? As we move through those steps, all of our issues come and stand in the way, like, hey, no, 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 you can't do this. Who are you to think that you can do this next step? Right. And if we don't have anybody to help us work through those, it slows down that process. Sometimes to the point where you go, oh, this is too hard, and so you've really got to, you've got to, I think in terms of the personal development, you really need to be something before you do something. And so it's like, who do you need to be to get to the next step? And often when I tell people I'm a personal development coach, I'm going to fix your issues, or we're going to work hard on fixing all of your stuff. People run so fast out the door because they're like, oh my gosh, it's going to be this. I'm going to be crying every session. And, we're going to do deep dives and I'm going to be uncomfortable and all that kind of stuff. And they literally, it's like the fastest way to get ghosted as a coach, to tell somebody that you're going to fix their issues, or we're going to deal with some personal, deep underlying issues, with this face. But what I usually do is, hey, come here. We're going to start a business. We're going to do a project, and we're going to work on this project. And as you work on this project, all of your issues, they always come up. They'll surface. And then I'll be like, hey, what's going on over here? Starting to feel like a bit of an imposter, like I'm a loser. I can't. Oh, okay. Let's just put that aside and let's work on that. And then we keep going. And that's how we do the personal and the professional development together. That's how you get to grow alongside your business, so that when you're making millions, you can handle millions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because if you make millions too quickly and you can't handle it, then you're like, oh my gosh, who am I to have all this money? Oh, it's just going to be taken away really fast. Or I can't cope with being so rich. I'm feeling so guilty. And then next minute, you just throw it away with your energy. You drop out of that power, and then the business goes down from there. So it's hard to maintain.
Yeah, that's exactly why I started my Arbonne business. Actually, was for the personal development piece. And the measure for me of knowing if I'm successful is successful in my business, but it was about how I felt about myself. Who am I for myself? And that was the piece where I was like, I want to push myself past the point where I think that I can do it, so that who I'm growing myself to be. At that point that I got there, I feel like I succeeded, and then I'm like, right, and now I'm ready to start a new business.
That's right. And it's often, we can start businesses whenever. Doesn't matter how, like, what age, what part in our life is. We can start new projects whenever we want to. And I think that we're ever evolving and ever growing. And it's just, you do something, and then if it's working and it feels good, then you keep going. And if it starts to not feel that great, then you sit back. Do I want to fix that? Or do I want to let it go? Or do I want to just leave it doing what it's doing and work on this a little bit? And then you have two things going, and then you work on the third thing, and then you work on the fourth thing. That's how you get that multiple streams of income. That's how you get the choice. That's how you make sure that your eggs aren't all in one basket, and that when something, um when something isn't working for you, or something becomes unaligned, you have the option. A lot of people get stuck in their jobs because they didn't create any options, and so they will just cop the pain and the demoralizing and the abuse and all of the toxic environments because they didn't prepare and they didn't give themselves the option, or they didn't do the work to know that they were actually worth enjoying their time. And then there are a lot of other people that are just um, getting paid to do what they love. Like me, I get paid to do what I love. And that's my ultimate um, measure of success. It's not about having a big house and a big car. And I did say to you ladies in the 12 once that my dream was to have a house with like the huge door, like just you know, with the door as big AF. Right. But I get to monetize just being me the way that I am at my home, not having to change my personality, talking about the things that I love, doing the things that I love, working with the people that I want to. That's a big thing. Yeah, being able to choose, I don't want to work with you, so I'm just not going to work with you. I'll refer you on to somebody else, or we're not really aligned. Being able to say no, because when you're working for an employer and a client comes in, you know they're going to be difficult. You can't say no because it's not your business. Yeah, and that saying no is like the one of the most important parts of personal development and life, the ability to say no. This is my favorite cup. See? How about no? Once you learn how to say no to what you don't want, you can leave and create space to call in the things that you actually do want.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. It's so good. I bet there's a lot of people that are watching now and who are watching the recording or in the group and mulling over. It's like, okay, all right, I know that there's a business in me, and like, but I'm really scared. I'm really nervous. I'm going through those phases. Or there's probably some people in the group who have started a business and want to know, like, maybe you're stuck at a step. If you're feeling like that and you want to write in the chat and you've got a question that you want to ask Roxy, please do. Please, pop in the chat if you've got a question. But what would you say would be like, a place to get started, or, what is there to do when you're looking at starting a business?
Well, firstly, we have to remind ourselves that when we're starting there's a difference between being the entrepreneur and starting a business and creating a job for yourself. Yeah, and the difference is that you're when you're working for somebody, generally you have a job. You get to do work and you get to work in your business. As a business owner, not only are you working in your business, but you're also working on your business. You get to make the decisions. You're the visionary. You're the person that drives it and creates it and gets to expand it into whatever dream that you want to. It's not you're just paying somebody else's mortgage. Yeah, you'll get to pay your mortgage too, but being able to see it more as something that you create, something that you create and put energy towards to build into something that's going to be more than just a way to make money, is how we create sustainable businesses. So having said that, you really need to consider then, okay, well, if I'm going to create something that I absolutely love, what is that? Getting clarity over not just what your skills are and what your qualifications are, but looking at what your passions are too, looking at your current situation, the limitations that you have, looking at what your future plans are going to be like as well. So it's just this first piece, which is all about just getting clarity of where you're at and maybe where you want to go, and trying to create a little bit of a roadmap, which is not set in stone, of what that might look like for you. And a lot of people don't even consider that. They're like, so and so started an Arbonne business. They made a whole bunch of money. And so I'm just going to start an Arbonne business and I'm going to make a whole bunch of money. And then they follow the steps. And then they're like, oh, I don't know why are they so successful and I'm not doing that well with mine. And it's like, okay, well, let's deep dive into that. You're not the same person as that person. So your business is not their business is not your business. You're going to be different. You're going to approach it differently. And if you're not passionate about it, you can start like a business. What am I going to do? I'm going to make candles. Do you buy candles? No, I hate candles. Then it's like, well, then why? Oh, because Sarah created a business where she made a whole bunch of money making candles. And I think I could do that. Looks pretty easy. No worries. Do it. Then you make candles and then your business goes, God forbid your business does well and you have to make like 100 candles a month or something on your own and you hate candles. How long can you sustain that for? Yeah, so really taking into the account not just what you can do, but what you love, what's going to be viable, and where you want to be in the future. They're like, oh, I'm going to start a business now. Amazing. It's going to be an empire. I'm going to work, 40 hours, 60 hours a week. Okay, cool. What's your plans in the next, what are your plans in the next 5 years? I want to have 10 kids. And it's like, well, that's not going to work, is it? Yes, so leaving room to live and making that part of the plan. And there is a process to this. And after we finish talking, I'll actually invite you to have a look at a freebie that I've put together for you guys on starting the business. So the process by which you come up with the ideas and make great decisions comes up with answering a few important questions for yourself and reflecting on some ideas. And if you do that at the start, then you're more likely to succeed. And even if you've started your business, if you go back and take the clarity process again, you'll know if your business is aligned to you and if you're on the right track. And if you're not, then you'll get an opportunity to make some shifts to put yourself back on an aligned path again.
Beautiful. I want to go to Dominique, who says in the chat that I've noticed that people will keep taking if you keep giving. I struggle with giving and not getting paid enough. My business is ethical and based on helping others, so I find this challenging. I figured out before she said so that she's a very empathetic person, so she feels like that's really a difficulty for her. Do you have any advice for Dominique?
I think somebody answered there that boundaries boundaries look different for everybody. Yeah. And so the giving and the self-sacrificing piece, it doesn't work when how's this? If I spend all of my time giving my energy away, right, without or giving discounts and not allowing the money to be received and actually allowing it to flow outwards from the place of, but I'm just helping people and that's all I want to do. You can't sustain that. You can't sustain that. How long are you going to be able to help people until you run out of money and then you're going to have to go and work at Muffin Break to get a job, which is going to take 40 hours of your time. So then you can't actually put the energy back into the thing that you were doing. Right. So you need to find a balance between servicing your community and helping your community and being able to stay afloat. And the best thing is that if you've got your business right, you're doing you're doing it in the way that you don't have to work a second job. This could just be it. Yeah. And so if you learn how to monetize in the right way, but still able to help a whole bunch of people, then you're going to sustain and do that business, and you're going to be able to help a whole lot more than if you start going, I'm going to do everything for free. Yes, here's my energy. Throw out your energy to everyone. Then next minute you're like, oh, I've got no energy. I've got nothing else to give. Yeah. I don't do anything for free. That's correct. So the other thing is the relationship around your money and self-worth and how they're tied together. So if you feel guilty around what you're charging, then that's a personal development piece that you need to work through in order to show what you're bringing to the table, understand what you bring to the table, understand that you're not there to take money off people. I just saw somebody write muffin break. I always use the muffin break one.
Yeah, yeah. Not McDonald's this time, muffin break.
You have to understand at any transaction, business or otherwise, because life is full of transactions, what you're bringing to the table, and understand the value of what you bring to each table in every relationship and every interaction that you have. And once you understand that, then you understand that your worth, if you're only thinking about what you're taking, then you're not really thinking about what you have to offer.
It's a very good piece for women in caring roles, you know.
Absolutely. I think I predominantly work with women, and this is the bigger piece. We are so used to being the nurturer, the caregiver in this role, and it's the archetype of personality that you put yourself last.
Yeah.
The problem is that many people have lost jobs. Sorry, can you read that chat out to me?
And don't have much money. Probably in this community, you know, we're working with people who don't have jobs, but and that's exactly why we're having this conversation tonight, so that people can start to create their own wealth.
That's right. And you don't, it doesn't need to be a big earner or anything, and you don't need to charge people an arm and a leg. One of the things that I find really cringy about the coaching industry, that there are people that are like, oh my gosh, you come here and I earn like $10,000 or $20,000 20K months coaching people, and the way that they do that is they just charge other people $10,000 a month. And it's like, how do you charge somebody who's just starting out that much money when they're like, oh, we've just lost our jobs and get away with it? And they're like, oh, well, yeah, because then you just teach those people to scam somebody else to out of $10,000 a month. And that's the strategy. And it's like, or you can create a purposeful service business where the community gets to grow together and sustain and help each other to collaborate. Right now, Kelly and I are doing a collaboration for both of our businesses. It's nice to be able to talk to you guys. Yeah. And so when you're in a community that is able to support each other you can also support each other with business and with earning. However, when you can't do swapsies forever, because, we can't swap out our rent and our bills. It's like, oh, it's okay, I'll just do some singing lessons for you. I'll do a belly dance for you. And you can, to what is it? Synergy for us, Energy Australia. Don't worry, I'll swap you some business coaching and you can just wipe the bill. Unfortunately, we're not in a world that is solely based on bartering. There is energy of money, and that's just the reality of the situation.
And bartering has its place and it might have its place a lot later. I mean we're learning to do all these things, right, so that when the custard does hit the fan, we've got something to swap. And people who haven't built any backup plan won't have that. And so, yeah.
And I know you did ask where people don't feel like they may not feel like they have anything to offer. Um, Knowledge is a good one. And the way that you get knowledge is you just learn it. And so, and I find that what happens is we get really stuck in thinking that our set of skills belong only to one occupation. Yeah. I started out, like I said, in the entertainment industry. I sing, I toured for a long time. I worked with James Morrison. I've been on big stages. I went on tour with Guy Sebastian. I've been on The Voice. I've done so much in the entertainment industry. And when it was time for me to settle down and have kids and just not be traveling so much and and all of this, and my husband literally picked me up and moved me to an island for 2 years because I was working too much and he never got to see me and our kids. And so when it came down to that, I was like, oh, but all I know how to do is to sing and teach singing. And then I realized that what I was teaching was actually personal development. I was teaching people how to be confident. I was teaching people how to perform, how to be seen, how to stand on the stage of the world, how to be the lead character in the movie that is their life and not just fade away into the background, how to be the director of the movie that is their life. And I was able to really understand that a lot of the skills that I learned from performance, from negotiating, from being in a ruthless industry, mind you, translated to any business and any industry in really in the same way. How we do one thing, as I always say, that we do one thing, we do everything.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're really good with people and you're really good at selling something that you absolutely love, then you can sell anything that you absolutely love.
Yeah.
If you're really good at building and using your hands to do one thing, you could probably take those hands and use them to do something else. So don't ever think that you're locked in to one particular job, or your set of skills and your knowledge only belongs in one place. Yeah, that's very narrow-minded. And once you sort of get rid of those limitations, how can we use those skills somewhere else that you've picked up? How can we use your experience in another mode? Then you start to realize the possibilities of what you can actually do in your real potential.
Yeah, beautiful. Exactly. And that we have a beautiful example of that in Atta, who's on this call, who was in schools, and when that opportunity came to an end, I was teaching and she was the teacher's aide or the SLSO in the classroom. And I said to Atta one day before mandates, I said, "What's your backup plan, Atta?" She says, "I've got crypto and I'm going to crypto." I'm like, "Good on you. You have a plan." And then, as we went along, and I got to know Atta a bit more, Atta's got amazing skills in canning that she just thought was just, everybody knows how to can, right? Or I call it jarring, it's preserving food. And no, Atta, we don't know these things. We want these skills. And so that's how we got
right now.
right.
I'm like, Kelly, teach me how to build a bunker under the ground. Quickly.
Yeah, and so now we've got a business for Atta teaching people how to can. And so that, we've got another one coming up at the end of the month. A little plug for Atta on the 30th of April, anyone wanting to come to canning workshop. So then tell us some more, Roxy, and for anyone who didn't pick that up in what she just said, Roxy used to be on The Voice, so you can Google her and listen to her sing on The Voice. That was really cool when I found.
I've been on pretty much all of them, I think.
Yeah, no, I'm like, oh, what do I know?
showing my age. I started with Australian Idol a long time ago, and then I worked with the Rockmelons, and then I moved from that, and then I got invited to actually to be a vocal coach behind the scenes in all the TV shows. And so I did actually live in Sydney for a long time, worked with Guy, worked with Jessica Malboy, worked with Delta Goodrem, worked with all of the Australians, as a coach and a backing vocalist, and then kind of I felt like more of the people that, and this is actually how I maybe it clicked for me, because we ran a studio, my husband and I, we ran a music studio in Alexandria in New South Wales, and we would have lots of people coming in wanting to work in the music industry, but the sessions that I was having was like, okay, we'll come in and do an hour singing lesson. But we never did that much singing. It was all about talking people through their issues with confidence and self-worth, and the stuff that was coming up that was stopping them from being able to perform. And I got really good at that. And to the point where then I had the record label managers, David Gaplice and the Champion and the guys that were managing new artists. They'd be like, Roxy, we just signed a new artist. Can you please just do your magic and fix their heads to be able to cope with the industry? Because nobody wants to invest in a front person that's going to crumble in the ruthlessness that is the industry, right? and so I've learned that that was actually what I mean, I'm good at singing and I'm good at teaching vocal tech, but I'm extremely good at pulling out people's potentials and working to what is it, kick everybody up the bum to get to just get out there and do what you have to do, because you're awesome and you can actually do it, and everyone can, and there's a place for everyone, and there's enough for everyone to have enough. And I think that's that's been that was how I sort of were like, oh well, maybe I'll just start doing that. And then I worked for, I don't know if you know Justice Crew, but I was their vocal coach for a good 2 years, and help them with all of their tours and just getting their heads in the right place, because they got extremely successful really, really quickly and probably weren't ready. They weren't singers, they were dancers. And so just being able to be there and inspire people to push their boundaries to become what I knew their potential was, and just to unlock dreams and push people to become more. And that's what I fell in love with, personal development. And then when all of my friends lost their jobs because the music industry just got shut down, at that point I had moved to Mauritius and I was working online doing personal development coaching. And I had a really good 2 years before, in 2016 I had moved. So I had a head start on starting my business online and moving away from the industry of finding another way to use my skill set. And so when I came back here, so many of my friends lost their work. So I just started, okay, I get you can't gig and you can't sing anymore. What else can we do? And I just started helping all of my friends to take their skills and to throw them into different areas. And some of those friends still have very successful businesses now, and still, like me, they can put the singing in like the passion basket, where you don't have to make money from that. You just get to do it whenever you feel like it. And they have long-standing successful businesses that pay their lifestyle. And that's been an incredible, that's my success, when I see that I've been able to help people to be able to survive doing what they do and just being them. Then I know that that's enough for me in terms of the success, right? We're getting, when I see you, Kelly, doing what you do and loving every moment of it, I'm just like, I'm so glad I pushed her into go do that.
Yes, totally. I'm like, Roxy, make me a famous Arbonne consultant. No, I think you just have your own business.
And I said, no, how do I make my Arbonne business better? I'm like, I'm not sure. Really? Well, yeah, because that's what I want to do. I want to get more. I said, okay, well, okay then. Okay,
Yeah.
let's start there. Let's start there. And I was like, you could coach. You could do this. Like, what do you really love to do? And then when you told me about all this stuff, I'm like, oh, you know how to do all that? I want to learn how to do that. That there's a market for that, especially right now. And then you just ran with it and it was amazing. And look at what you've built. Look at the community that you've built. I'm ever proud of Kelly in such a very short time too.
Thank you. We have a lot of fun together. So tell everyone how they can have a bit of a piece of this fun, what you're offering is.
Okay, well, so I ran a mini challenge last week, 2 weeks ago. The weeks kind of blend because my kids don't go to school anymore, and so I don't know what day it is. They're homeschooling at the moment, which has been amazing. But I ran a challenge called the Startup. And what it is that clarity process on just getting the idea together and how you would make better decisions about where you would start, or if you've started, to go back to this clarity process and really work out, am I on an aligned path, and how do I shift it to make sure that I'm actually building the business that I want to stay in, that I'm going to enjoy, and that I'm going to be able to sustain for a long time. So I ran it's a 3 parts, it's those 3 training videos there. So I want to offer that to you guys as a freebie. I've set it all up in a course, and then it comes with a video and then the video worksheets as a self-paced course. So for everyone who is here, I'd like to send you the link to that so that you can check out what I'm doing, and maybe sort of entertain the idea, just dip your toe in the idea of doing something new, and what it could actually look like for you. And if it's something that you want to move forward with and that I can support you with, that you would let me know and contact me further. I have a program called Life Design Academy, and what it is a weekly again, life and business program where we come together and we learn how to progress. And it also has a vault of templates, courses, bits and pieces in there on life and business, that you can have access for. In my LDA at the moment, Life Design Academy, is $67 for the month, and you get every week time with me, support with me, answering all your questions and helping you through the processes, plus all of my templates and recorded course bits and pieces that help you along the way. So that's the paid offer, but I'd like to firstly offer you the free course, that replay that you guys can check into, and I should just maybe just send you the link to that, and you guys can check me out. And if it's something that you're interested, then let me know.
Are you able to pop the link into the chat as well?
I can. Let me just go and find it. But I will take it. Do we have questions? I feel like I'm just talking too much. I'm a big talker. I can talk anyone's ear off. That's the skill that I have.
Raymond says he has a question about an ethical, moral objection to taking money from people, even if it's in the context of fair pay for fair work. I'm not sure if starting a business is for him, but having recently terminated from a 19-year career, may not have much of a choice in the future. So how do you see yourself moving forward if taking money is not something that you find ethical or moral? Raymond. That is it.
How was it ethical or moral in your full-time job and not now?
Yeah, so while Raymond is typing that away, feel free, anyone, to pop any questions in. I know there's a few people on here who have started businesses, and Michael has a business, and Melissa's started her homeschooling business.
Oh, hi, Melissa.
Melissa, do you want to jump off mute? And you've worked with Roxy.
Hi, Roxy. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. You're really quiet, I think. I'll have to get closer to the mic.
Oh, yes, I'm on my phone, so hopefully you can hear me.
Yep.
I'm kind of in my pajamas, so I'm not really to the camera.
That's okay. That's how we did most of our sessions, in my pajamas. So
no, it's lovely to hear your voice and your spirit, and what you offered was amazing. So I can't speak about you highly enough. It's only the beginning stages of where I'm at, but it just gives me so much hope and such a strong vision of where I need to go and where I want to be, in those boundaries that I want to set. So thank you so much.
Oh, you're very, very welcome. We had lots of fun.
Beautiful. Lovely to hear that.
I'm going to pop this link in here.
Yeah, that'd be great. And if anyone, take advantage of that link, because it's so good to challenge yourself and see how it you feel going through that process, everyone. So does anyone else have any questions that you'd like Roxy to answer for you? So Raymond just put a reply in there.
I work for Child Protection, was paid by the state government for the work I did. It was ethical and moral to be paid by the state to do what the legislation required to be done to protect children. It is still ethical and moral to be able to do what you do to protect children and to support people. And the only way that you can actually sustain that support was because you got paid for it before. So why should it be any different now? And I think what you need to think about is that we price in a way that is ethical. And as long as you're looking at your rates ethically, in alignment with what you're doing, then you know that you can give that energy into your job and do your best, because you don't have to worry about earning somewhere else. That gives you the freedom in order to pull all of your energy into that piece of work. When you're working and you're having to, you've got like a passion project, and then you've got a something that pays the bills when custard hits the fan, right? Then what ends up happening is life happens, and the first thing that you're more likely to drop is the one that isn't actually sustaining you financially, because without that, you don't have the other one. So in order to position yourself in a way that you can service more people, you need to be able to have that money exchange so that you're being sustained too. You cannot pour from an empty cup. Simple as that.
Yeah, 100%. Andrew and Emma asked, how do you define an entrepreneurial mindset?
Entrepreneurial mindset comes down to, I'd say, what we all kind of value here is called radical responsibility. Yeah. And it's the ability to take responsibility for your life and to be in control of your time, your energy, your actions, your future, as well as your past. Yeah. That the entrepreneur is the business arm of radical responsibility. That's how I look at it. When you can take all those things in control as far as business.
Yeah, that's a fabulous answer. And I've never heard it said quite like that, but that is, I'm going to replay that and write that down and put it on a meme. That's awesome. Yeah, love that. All right, well, we'll wrap up tonight, and of course, we all know that the fun happens when the recording ends. So, thanks so much for watching the replay, and also for joining me in the room. And we're gonna open up the chat now and just chat in the room. So, thank you so much, Roxy, for your beautiful heart, your wisdom, your understanding. You're absolute doll to be with and to work with. And so, if anyone's thinking about taking Roxy up on any of her on the challenge or the life design, please do. It's, you know, everyone should have a business. It's really about pushing yourself through that journey, those steps, and really becoming the best version of yourself. That's what
That's
business
right. Take up the offer and do the freebie for clarity, just to see what it may look like for you, because you never know what it will spark in terms of your ideas and your creativity. And so yeah, just take a look at that stuff, because I cannot recommend the piece of work of getting yourself in a position where you have more control over your earnings, more than you know. I cannot recommend that more.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for joining. And you're very welcome.
You're beautiful. Thank you, everyone. Good night.